disease, tens of millions of asthmatics, diabetics, autoimmune diseases on the rise. 1 out of 100 children or less that are born today will be diagnosed with an autism spectrum disorder. Ordinary is no longer okay. It stinks. It's terrible. But if you're extraordinary, that means that you are not a statistic anymore. You don't have to be one of the 2 that gets heart disease or one of the 2.5 that gets cancer. But in order to be extraordinary, you have to take extraordinary effort. I'm not going to tell you anything that I'm going to share with you is easy, but it is simple, which means there is a straightforward path to do it. You don't have to go to 70 doctors. You don't have to go around the world. You don't have to go to Germany, watch the OJ trial, or any of that. But what you do need to do is take action. And to have extraordinary health, there's nothing greater than that on the planet. It took a devastating illness and losing years of my life to realize that. But I did vow that if I was able to get well during that illness, that I would help just one person overcome disease, or better yet, avoid it, then it will have all been worth it. Just maybe, the reason I got sick was for one of you. People ask me all the time, why'd you get sick? And they expect me to talk about pesticides or vaccinations or gluten. But I prefer to say the reason I got sick is so that someone else could stay well or get well. I didn't plan on it, I wouldn't have chosen it. But when I was in the circumstance, I could see that. There's a good saying I've heard that God doesn't waste our pain. So if you're in a circumstance that's bad, perhaps you're to conquer it and share with someone else who's in the thick of it. I always said that if the doctor that I was visiting had been through what I was going through and had overcome, I would have felt much more comfortable when they explained all the things that were going to be poked and prodded in various areas of my body that I would prefer to keep private, if you know what I mean. But I've been through it, and if you listen and apply and take action to some of the principles and keys we're going to learn, maybe you don't have to. Or if you're in a situation, I promise you, while I can't say you'll be well tomorrow, I can guarantee that if you will follow these age-old principles, your tomorrow can be better than today, next week better than this week, next month better than this month. And instead of a New Year's resolution January 1st, maybe a New Year's revolution where a complete turnaround in your life is in order. These 6 keys to extraordinary health I'm going to share are taken from my experience, my study, and gleaned from some of the men and women who really founded the modern natural health movement. Names like Paul Bragg and Bernard Jensen, Victor Earl Irons and Adele Davis, Norman Walker, Weston Price, many others that you'll learn about, Edward Howell. These men and women started natural health principles and concepts when it wasn't popular, when no one knew about it, when they were considered crazy. Those names may not sound like much to you, but these individuals started the first health food store, brought over the first vegetable juicers in the United States, found a weed in their yard that was wheatgrass, put it through a press, and said it could be healthy for us to drink. The father of digestive enzymes, and some of the best research and information we have came from them. So I'm not inventing anything or reinventing anything. I'm just here to share the information that has been gleaned and gathered and taught by the best and the brightest in our great natural health movement. And you can be a part of that as well. Key number 1 to extraordinary health. It starts with the gut. That digestive system that you prefer not to hear much from, that goes from your mouth to the other end, holds life and death in it. At least most of us believe that. As early as, or as late as 1910, major medical texts showed that what goes on in your gut and toxicity that escapes to the rest of your body could be implicated in 90% of illness, or 90% of health. From breaking your arm, requiring nutrients and compounds to heal, to an ulcer, it all is governed by the digestive tract. In fact, if I could choose a disease, it would be the one that I had, because through it, I have more to offer to virtually everybody. Digestion, elimination, and detoxification are critical for everyone. Now, I, growing up, as many other young boys, always wanted to be a superhero. You know, you want to have super strength, leap tall buildings with a single bound, X-ray vision. And I guess, in a way, I've grown up to be a superhero. I just never realized his name would be Bowel Boy. Because for the last 10, 15 years, I've discussed people's bowel habits. I love when people say,